Hi everyone, my name is Phil and welcome to Phil Does 3D. I'm a multimedia and 3D artist and I stream live on Twitch on Mondays and Tuesdays at 5 p.m. Pacific time if you're in the United States. That's 10 a.m. if you're in Australia, or 1 a.m. I believe if you're in the UK and Europe. I hope you guys and girls are well. Remember, if you miss the live streams, you can catch up at any time by clicking the videos tab on my Twitch channel or going to my YouTube channel, which is /PhilDoes3D. I upload all of my previous streams both to Twitch and to YouTube, but YouTube is behind my Twitch stream. So if you're on YouTube watching me and you want to see the very latest streams, you can go to my Twitch channel, go to the videos tab, and you can watch them there. You can find my Twitch channel link in the description below this video on YouTube. Remember too, if you want to become a Phildo and join the Phil Does 3D Discord server, you can type !Discord in Twitch chat at any time to get an invite link, or you can go to the About Me section on my Twitch page and look for a blue graphic that says join the Phil Does 3D Discord. You'll get an invite link that way as well. We're going to continue working on a game called The House in the Hollow. That's available to wishlist on Steam right now. If you're on YouTube, look in the description below the video, or if you're on Twitch, then go to the About Me section and look for a graphic that says wishlist the game, and you can do it that way. Okay, so Sniper Girl, it's good to see you. I see that the link you posted in the Discord server for the case, it's an interesting looking case. You like pink. It's not my style of case, that's why I said it's very angular. Euro actually gave you a much better response than I did. And everything he said holds pretty true, I think, about it being cramped and expensive. Yeah. So, yep. Interesting case. Another girl says, I like pink, go figure. You know, that's fair enough. Pink is a nice colour. Yeah. I like my cases a bit more boxy, I think, than angular. Just going to grab a quick drink. All right. So we're continuing with The House in the Hollow. Now, we were doing the cobwebs yesterday, and I know how much you guys love it when I just do cobwebs. So what we might do today, I think, is take a break from doing cobwebs, and we might do some work retexturing some of those assets in 3D Studio Max and Painter. Yeah, so you guys don't have to spend a whole stream watching me cobweb up a room. Megan3D says, pink is my kryptonite. Hey, Euro says, clock looks neat in the corner with the webs. Thanks, Euro. Yeah. I did make some changes. I removed those webs from up in the top corner. You guys saw me put them up there yesterday. I just moved them down here over the actual clock itself. Makes it look a bit more interesting. They didn't look right up there. So, yeah, and look, we could add, and I do want to add cobwebs to other bits and pieces as we add it into the building, but we won't do that today, because I know you guys don't like watching me do cobwebs all day long. Another girl says, take a break from cobwebs. I don't believe you. No, we will. We're not going to actually do any, well, I'm not planning on doing any work in Unreal today. I think what we're going to do is we're going to do what we did yesterday with the clock, where we made it look dirty and old, with a couple of the other assets that we want to add into the destroyed caretaker's cottage here. So I think that's what we'll end up doing. Yeah. So instead of working here, well, I may change my mind. You know what I'm like. Another girl says, to make it 3D, my chair, computer, towel, blanket and rug totally aren't pink. Are they really, Sniper Girl? You got your chair, your towel. I know, I've seen your computer. Your blanket and your rug are pink. Wow. I like black. Does that make me strange? I like to buy black stuff. Anyway, so let's jump into Max, and let's start with the phone, I guess. So So what I want to do first is jump into Photoshop and open up the textures. The other thing I'm doing is I'm changing the textures from TGA to PNG. That's the one I want. That's the one I want. That's the one I want. And we're working on the phone, which will be this one. And I just want to, that's the diffuse, that's the normal. This is the combined roughness and metallic. I can never remember which one is which. I believe the red is the, yeah, the red is the roughness and the green is the metallic. Yep. So I'm just going to separate these into their own textures. Oh, no. Gotta make sure I'm on the right channel to copy before I copy. There we go. So this one is going to be the metallic. TX phone 01A. Oh, I see. Okay. So TX phone 01A, and it's going to be the metallic. And this one will be the roughness. Good. Make it 3D says you horrify me. Snappy Girl says yep. Euro says all my stuff is black too. Yeah, I like black. I think your desk is the same color as mine as well. So yeah, good stuff, Euro. Snappy Girl says try. Make it 3D says Snuggle, you're welcome. Android Lust, it's good to see you. Says good morning, good evening. Yes, good morning and good evening to everyone, no matter where you are around the world. Sniper Girl says hi. Euro says 1 AM, so both of it. So yes, let's jump into Painter and create a new project. I'm going to leave this at 2K. Am I going to leave it at 2K? I can't remember. Hang on. Let me just see what we did yesterday. No, we don't want that one. I just want to... No, they were at 4K, so we'll do 4K again. The engine will knock it back to 2K anyway. Well, I mean, actually, that's extreme. For something like a phone, we'll leave it at 2K. 2K is enough. Let's not go too nuts here, I guess. So we want the phone. Let's break out our maps at 2K, using the low poly as the high poly. And let's add a fill layer. And bring in our texture maps. Let's see if I can remember to do what you suggested yesterday. I think, was it you, Euro? Or was it make it 3D? So we want the color, metallic, normal, and roughness. I did remember. Andrew Dust says it's going good. I finally decided to buy another drawing table. Oh, sorry, drawing tablet. I can't read. Well, it's a monitor. Nice. So you got one of those drawing tablets like Sniper Girl that has the screen. Here it says I might 3D print a white PI case next. Pi case, that is, Raspberry Pi. Just to break the mold, need to design something to hold my Pizzero SDR rig. It's running on top of a cardboard box at the moment. Nothing wrong with a cardboard box. Andrew Dust says print a mini cardboard box for it. That'd be funny. And Euro says I'm still fine tuning the antenna gain though, so it's going to live there for a bit. Oh, that would be funny. Okay, so we're going to take the colour, the metallic, the normal, and the rough. Now, there's nothing wrong with the texture on this phone, but it's just too clean. Considering it's going to be in that, you know, destroyed cottage, it needs to be dirty. Really dirty. Euro says SDR equals software defined ratio. Oh, okay. As opposed to SDR and HDR used in visuals. Alright. So we're just going to, again, we should be able to get through these quickly because I'm not doing any major retexturing on this. I'm just dirtying stuff up. So let's go and do a search for dirt. And let's see here. Here says no, entirely different. Radio. Software defined radio. What do I want? What do I want? I'm just going to add this steel one and see if we can get a blend happening with a mix. So let's just change the mixing mode. So we're just going to start by adding a general mix on the metal just to make it look a little bit more interesting and not quite so evenly clean. Sniper Girl says to Euro, it's Phil, he can't read, always subs in words. I know I do that all the time. I know I know for everything. Yes, I know, it's terrible, it's bad Phil. Euro says it's a rabbit hole I fell into, also looking at rigging up an outside mast for better reception. Yeah, I've never really got into this radio side of stuff. I know I've retired my Raspberry Pis. I have two of them, but yeah, I retired. They've been retired. They gave me good service over the years, but so they can have a rest now. Well-deserved rest. I'm just adding an overall general dirt layer, which will move to the top of the stack once we've done a little bit more dirtying up. Let's see what this one is. Same for this one, these two can go to the top of the stack. So they're just adding a little bit more dirt over everything. Let's see what this one is. Because why stop at one? I don't think we want it to be that dirty. Probably not that one either. Here it says there's some crazy sized antennas you can get. I don't have room in the garden for those. Plus choppers sometimes land within nearby, so not the ideal location for putting masks up. Hellforge! Hey Hellforge, it's good to see you, buddy. Well, this is true. If there are choppers landing around where you live, then yeah, you probably don't want to put a mask antenna up. Okay, let's just knock this back a little bit. I'm just going to remove the grain because I never like the grain on this thing. And we're just going to play with the balance a little bit. Pull back a little on the contrast maybe. Yeah, why not? Might just reduce it a little bit as well. And we're going to move these two dirt layers to the very top of the stack. Might just increase it a little bit now that I've moved it down in the stack. See? Got the symbol for the Queen here on the center of the dial. The crown. Andrew Lost this morning. Sniper Girl says, how are you? Euro says, I wasn't going to go much higher than the roof line, which is safe, but those big antennas are really wide. I just have a monopole whip antenna for outside. Get blown over by the wind or helicopter downdraft, I guess. Sniper Girl says, God save the Queen. That's right. Copy and save. Yes, good idea. Let's do the save and then I can have a copy. So we're going to save as. And we're going to call this one Cottage, GF for Grandfather Cottage, like the clock, GF phone. Let me see if I can pronounce your username. Bilho Diazalda. I'm sorry. I think that might be a bot account anyway. Thank you. Thank you, Hellforge, for banning that. Couldn't pronounce it anyway. Sniper Girl says, aren't they usually durable? Hell spam bot, yes. You caught onto it much quicker than I did, Hellforge. Thank you for banning the spam bot. They're getting worse on Twitch, actually, these spam bots. I'm noticing that they're popping into streams a lot more often now. Trying to flog their crappy followers and prime viewers thing. Sniper Girl says, was a bot? Yes, I realised that. I know. I was fixated on the username, trying to pronounce the username, trying to work out how to pronounce it before I read the rest of it. Alford says, not hard considering that I don't have 400-year-old reflex. Ooh! You're gonna get a slap. And that's for you too, Sniper Girl. You're both getting slapped. Bill slap for you. Or as Sniper Rico suggested, we call it Will slap, but yeah. Worth it, Hellforge says. Oh, did I get a mod slap? Did the mod slap go off, Sniper Girl? I wasn't watching my OBS to see. You slapped back. You didn't say anything. Oh, you're always saying something. It's for all the other times you've said stuff. Let's export these textures. We can keep the name the same. And we're going to put them in our painted folder. Export. Okay. Let's move on to the next one. So we have the cabinet. Let's have a look at the cabinet. This one we can go to 4K because I think it's quite large. Yeah. Yura says, I'm planning a 2-inch diameter pole and mounting it on top, which will be strong enough for any wind loads. Don't know about choppers though. Abigail says, not this time. Yura says, I'll probably get a telescopic mask, then I can flaunt the law by saying it's temporary. Andrew Love says, so what's the antenna for? We just need to, again, pull out the textures for this. So I'm just going to open it up. Cabinet. That's the one we want. And we want to go into the red channel. And this one's going to be the roughness. And this one's TX cabinet 03A and roughness. And this one's going to be the metallic. You see, I'm using shortcuts while I work in Photoshop, and you just hear me typing on a keyboard and you can't see what I'm doing. So this is generally why I don't use shortcuts. But I'll do it today just so that you guys don't get triggered, because I know how it triggers all of you when I don't use shortcuts. This one's going to be the metallic. Euro says it's for scanning radio signals, it's a receiver only. I have it tracking aircraft at the moment. Okay. Snuffer Girl says, nice. Can't you technically do that already via sites? She's asking. Are you sure? She says to me, are you sure it's because they didn't have shortcuts in the Stone Age? And she says, and yes, this time I said something. You deserved it. Come on. Be nice. But that's the reason I generally don't use shortcuts though, because you can't see what I'm doing. I'm just hitting my keyboard. And if you're watching me, I would assume you would want to know why I'm doing and what I'm doing and when I'm doing it and all that sort of jazz. Because you're all sticky bigs. So we want the cabinet. There we go. We want the cabinet, and cabinet. So let's add a fill layer. Oop. We want to put it there, we want to put it there. There we go. Sticky bigs, helpful. Oh, sticky bigs, what? Yeah, no, that's probably an Australian expression. Sticky big. Heck, what would be a sticky big? The nosy Parker. You know those neighbours that are always spying on everyone, that sort of thing. Snobby Girl says, I don't know, ancient slang for something, not sure what it translates to. Yeah, it's like us, Yeah, Ancient Maker 3D says, I doubt anyone is watching this to learn to model or use software. If that was the case, you would want to call out what you're doing, saying what the keys you're using. Yeah, but if I have to call out the keys that I'm using, that's a pain. The Twitch resolution's too low or pixelated to follow many of the things you're doing with respect to the user interface. Well, you know, I do stream up to 1080p at 60 frames per second, so you should be able to get a clear image if you've got the internet connection to watch. Euro says also feeding data gives me free accounts on some of the flight tracking sites. Ah. Nosy Parker. Android Lust doesn't know what a nosy. Oh god, how can I explain this? Alright, look, Google will do a better job than I can, so let's have a look. Sticky big. Disagreeable, unpleasant, came to a sticky end. Oh no, that's not the right one. Nosy post. Big sticky. It must be just an Australian thing. Let's do Nosy Parker. A person who is too interested in what other people are doing is a nosy person. So there you go. Snappy Girl says to Health Boards, not even Google knows what that what? Not you type these things to make it difficult for me to read. Not even Google knows what that is. Alford says you can't just explain some obscure Australian slang by using more obscure Australian slang. Yeah, how is the job going, Hellforge? As Euro asks. Snappy Girl says so obscure that Google doesn't even know. That's true. Well, I'm giving you an education in Australian slang here. Hellforge says to Euro, it's going alright so far. Enjoying the work and loving the team I work with. Well, that's great to hear, Hellforge. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Because that's what it's all about. It's about enjoying what you do, if you can. I mean, again, not everyone is fortunate enough to be able to do something that they love doing, but if you can, great. Euro says, so Sticky Biggs is a nosy bastard. Pretty much, yeah. Snappy Girl says, sorry, doing like 3 things at once. Android Lust says, we can understand nosy bastard. There you go. So yes. Alright, dirt, that's what we're doing, dirt. You're throwing me, guys, you're throwing me. Let's have a look at the general dirt overlay. And let's go with the... What's this one? No, I don't like that one. Let's have a look at this one. It's a bit too subtle. Let's have a look at this one. No, I don't like that one. Let's go with our trusty dirt. Let us make some adjustments by turning off the grain, changing the mixing mode. We want to turn off the height and the normal. I don't put a normal on a dirt texture, it's not necessary. Let us pull it back a little bit. Let's change some colors as well, I think. Doesn't look like we can, which is really annoying. Let's change the mix. It's going to pull in a little bit more dirt. Sniper Girl says the only foreign slang I know is Muppetry. What's Muppetry? I've never heard of that. What's Muppetry? Helpwood says, in case you didn't know this, The Witcher over here has both Swedish dub and subs. It's wild. Really? Let me have a look. I just want to also remind you guys on the Discord that make sure that you're very careful with your Discord accounts, because a couple of people now have... What's going on here? Have had their Discords hacked, their account hacked, so if you're on Discord, be very careful, okay? About, yeah, I think these were man-in-the-middle attacks, but... Oh, you're talking about the Witcher series, actual Netflix series, okay. I thought you meant the game for a minute. I've noticed, I don't know if you guys, I'm an Amazon Prime member, and so I have access to Amazon Video. It doesn't do it anymore, but when I first started watching Amazon Video, it used to automatically turn subtitles on, and they used to always be in German. It was strange. Like, I'm an Australian English, and my account is set up to be English. But for some reason, some movies and some shows, when I used to watch them on Amazon Video, would automatically turn subtitles on, and they'd always be in German. I don't know why. Sniper Girl says, Muppetry, the behaviour of a Muppet, foolish incompetence. Oh, see, I've never heard of that expression before. Sniper Girl says, used in the UK. Australian YouTuber uses that term. It's not an Australian term. Oh, well, maybe it is. I'm not up on all the Australian slang. Yeah, look, we call people a Muppet, which is like a bit of an idiot. So I guess that could be true. But I've never heard Muppetry. I've heard Muppet. Helpwood says, throw a coin to your Witcher man. It's a literal translation. Okay. Witch man. You see, anyway. Yeah, no, I've never heard Muppetry, but I've heard Muppet. We do call people Muppet. I don't, but we call people Muppets. That is slang. Oh, look, again, we don't want to go too nuts with this. I just want a general dirty texture on it. I'm going to move the overlay to the very top. And just going to see if I want to make any changes here. Not really. Quick look over the rest to see if there's anything else that might be interesting. Not really. It's an interesting texture, but not for what we want. Unless I can do a mix, change the mix. Doesn't hurt to have a look through them all. You never know. I'm reconsidering what I said yesterday about the Unreal Engine 5 being... Look, it is still a bit buggy. I'm not going to take that back. But I was doing some testing with it last night, and it is actually quite good as far as what Epic have managed to achieve with the engine. Frame rates are actually quite good. Surprisingly good. Might just... We're going to do a mix with this in a minute. I'm just going through them to see what I can turn on and off. There's one texture I'm looking for. In particular. Okay. This is the one here. I want to turn off the hide information on that. And what we're going to do is we're going to group these together. I'm going to call this my groundskeeper GC cabinet, and we're going to throw a smart mask down. And it looks like that has changed my we want to move that up there. Hang on, Bill's getting confused here. I'm pull back on that a little bit. Actually, I'm going to change the mask before I make any adjustments to the mixing. Yeah, I think it changed my blend mode. Oh, wrong one. That's the one I want. Not behaving the way I want it to. There's also, before we tackle the dirt, let's have a look at this. There's a problem here on the pic. Just got to find the right layer. Come on, which layer is it? I think it's Maybe it's the layer below it. No, it's definitely in this layer. Okay, it's this layer here. We might just remove that, I think. Hang on, what are we talking about? Sniper Girl says, looks like there's flipped normals or something on the front not showing up. What do you mean? Are you talking about here? That's, if you mean this, no, they're the actual hinges. Is that what you're talking about? And you see through here where you can actually see through the mesh. That's because doors go here, which we're going to do in a minute. I'm going to save this as a smart material and we're going to apply it to the doors. And that's so that the doors can be set up as being interactive in the game to open the cupboard up. She says the posts. I'm assuming she must mean these, which are the hinges. Well, I think, unless she's talking about something else. Let me catch up with the chat. Hang on. He doesn't see it yet. Android Lust says, Helpwood says, I thought you were reconsidering adding 1 billion cobwebs and instead only adding 2. Well, this is the reason I thought we do work in doing some texturing today, because otherwise I will spend the entire stream doing cobwebs in that building, because that's just, because it needs it. Rename card. Hey, rename card. It's good to see you. Helpwood says, classic Phil. The one time he needs to read the chat, he's deep into work. Yeah, is that what you guys were talking about? Is this what you meant? Did you mean these things here? Sniper Girl, is that what you were talking about? Because yeah, they're hinges, and yeah, we can see through the mesh here, but that's because the cabinet doors go right up against there. So Rename card says, look at Phil kicking butt over here. Helpwood says, not even drinking coffee and saving. I know. Okay, that's a good, let's save and I can have a coffee and I can catch up with the chat. So this is GF, gatekeepers. What's GF? Groundskeeper. Oh, I don't know. I'm just calling it GF anyway. I can't remember what it was short for now. Cabinet. Rename card says, a nice detail in that wood texture. It's mainly dirt. So what we're doing is we're taking some assets and we're just making them a little bit more dirty, because they're going in a building in the game that has been destroyed. So they've been weathered and open to the elements and stuff. So you were wrong, Android Lust says. Yes, that's right, you were. Don't question me. I've told you guys before, do not question me. Grandfather clock. Is that, yeah, but why did I call it GF? What's the F stand for? Oh, it was GF for grandfather. Okay. Anyway, it doesn't matter. We know that they're all part of the same series of assets for the same building, so we should be good. I don't think there's anything more I need to add here. I'm just going to export this texture now. Just before I do that, I'm just going to create a smart material out of that so we can apply the same texture to the doors. My GC cabinet. Okay, we've got to remember that. My GC cabinet is what it's called. So I do take back what I said about Unreal Engine yesterday. It is actually quite good. It's still buggy. There are bugs like that media player thing I told you guys about yesterday. It's a bug. not playing media files back. But as far as the frame rate goes, no, it's good. It is good. Epic have done a great job with Lumen. We haven't looked at Nanite yet, but Lumen certainly is really, really interesting. Rename Card says, yeah, I like the dust or worn varnish. Yes, so it's looking cool. Thank you. Helpwood says, father. Helpwood says, sounds like you need more. I think you're right. Smurf Perry. Hey Smurf, it's good to see you, buddy. How are you, Smurf? How's that monitor of yours going? Have you're still not using it? The one that started burning, had a burning smell? Rename Card says, I feel like I always catch you at the end of texturing. I need to be here from the beginning one time. Well, just for you, Rename Card, we'll jump into Unreal so I can show you what we're doing. So we are creating furniture for this destroyed building here, which is the old groundskeeper's cottage. Now again, don't judge it here because I haven't rebuilt the lighting in this level, so it's not shadowing and shading correctly. But so yeah, we're just doing what we did here with the grandfather clock, and we're just adding some bits and pieces of furniture to the building. And what we're doing is we're retexturing it for that. So that's what we're doing. Doing the caretaker's cottage. Rename Card says, hi to Smurf. Steam, thank you. If you want to wishlist the game you see me working on assets for here, click that link Hellforge popped into Twitch chat. That will take you to the Steam store page where you can wishlist the game, and that way Steam will let you know as soon as the game has been released. I'll send you a message or something, I guess. It'll appear in your Steam feed. I think you'll also, if you wishlist anything on Steam, you get updates. If the developers do any updates, which we did, the game studio did last week when we released the game intro video. It's the only way I can get to Steam. There we go. So yeah, the announcements and stuff pop up if you wishlist the game, so you'll know when anything new is happening with regards to the game. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say, wasn't it? Yeah, that's right. And that's the website for the game, of course, which is thehouseinthehollow.com. Did I export the textures for this? I can't remember. Yeah, I think I did. Looks like I did. Okay, and we saved the smart material, which is good. We save the file, and let's create a new project. What did I hit then? There we go. Wrong one. Create a new project. These are going to be the doors, so we'll leave them at 2K. Cabinet. I think it's C is the door from memory. Yep. $2K bake. Smurf says, hang on. Make It 3D says, back, did he fix the flipped normals? It wasn't a flipped normal problem. You guys were just not understanding how the asset was created. Don't question me, I've told you. Smurf says, no, the monitor is just sitting on the side. Fair enough. Yeah, don't use it if it smells like it's burning. You don't want to start a fire. So you're down a monitor. That sucks. Helpwood says it wasn't flipped normals. He left the space like that because of the doors. That's right. And it's because these doors will go where you were seeing where you thought it was a flipped normal. It was specifically left open for the door here because it's part of the door. Rename Card says it's looking pretty insane, Phil. Thank you, Rename Card. Just for you, I'm going to go through a couple. and like the guys at the game studio are going to scream at me because they say when I work I've got to stay in the area that I'm working in. But we're going to go through the bookmarks. I don't know if I've shown everybody all the bookmarks anyway yet, so let's do it. But again, remember, lighting has not been rebuilt here, so pardon me. So it's looking very flat because, yeah, there's no lighting, there's no ambient occlusion or anything. So once the lighting is rebuilt, it will change the look quite a bit. But we'll go through the bookmarks, and I'll piss all the guys at the game studio off. They'll yell at me, but that's okay. So let's start here. So yeah, this is a lookout. So there, which I won't go. Actually, I will. You'll see it in a minute. There is actually a lookout here that you can travel to. Yeah, this is a lookout here. So I'm just going to go through them quickly, so hopefully they won't notice that I did it at the game studio. 7, which this is actually where you start the level. It's the starting point. There's like a map here that'll show you where you're meant to go and what is what, sort of thing. Was that 7? I can't remember. Yeah, I think that was 7. Let's go to 6. And this is the church which you guys saw me working on live on stream. So we can show that because it's already been shown on stream anyway. With our little altar. And our graveyard. Android Lost says it wasn't for me, so Mega 3D says he's fine. Elford says, Phil, do you bake in the ambient occlusion into the color map? Some things I do and some things I don't. Generally I don't. Generally I use the ambient occlusion, real-time ambient occlusion now in the engine. Some things though I still will if the ambient occlusion in the engine doesn't give me the look that I'm going for, so generally no. But sometimes yes. And so some of the assets in this game have baked in ambient occlusion as part of the actually they have it as a separate texture which is then mixed in the shader, but generally no. Generally I'll just rely either on the ray traced ambient occlusion generally now, and if that isn't enough then I'll bake it in for that specific asset if it doesn't look quite right. In Painter, yeah, no, I don't do it in Painter. I save it out as a separate ambient occlusion and add it in the shader in Unreal if I'm going to do it that way. You can add it to the diffuse if you want to. That's another way to do it. But by adding it as a separate ambient occlusion map inside the shader, inside the engine, you got more control over how much and how little you want it to show up. Whereas if you add it to the diffuse, then you got no control over it. So I tend to keep it as a separate texture so I can control it a bit more to get the look that I want. Smurf says, Phil is just a masochist for punishment. Mega 3D says, there was some grass out of place. Start the game design over. Yeah, look, no. Again, as well, we still have to do many passes over this this landscape. There are going to be things like trees that are not completely in the ground and all that sort of jazz. So yeah, no, this needs multiple beauty passes before it's considered ready. This is still very early days for this landscape, so was that 5? Yeah, that was 5. So this is the bridge that we were working on. This is the cottage which you see me working on now. This is going to be where we're going to start setting up the main entryway, like the drive and stuff for the manor house that you saw me working on a month or 2 ago when we were doing all the assets for it. And then behind that, back here, will be the entry hall that we're going to be using to load and unload the landscape. 2, that's the interior of the ruined church. That's that one, and this is a bridge, not a bridge, but it's like a fallen tree. Because you can't actually, and again, you should not be watching these streams if you want to play the game and you don't want any spoilers, okay? There is like this hidden stairway that you need to find to get across the ravine, because you can't actually cross up there at the bridge because the bridge is destroyed. So, and that will take you to this fallen tree, which you can then use to cross the ravine. And we do have a waterfall and stuff here, which you won't see running because it's a real-time effect. So basically the waterfall, any rocks that the particle effect hits, the water will run around it, so it won't run through it. I don't know if you guys have seen a lot of games where you have a waterfall and the water actually just sort of like runs directly through the rock. It keeps running straight down. Because this is a real-time volumetric sort of effect, the water actually runs around any rocks or anything that it hits. But yeah, again, it's a runtime effect, so you won't see it until the game is actually playing. That's why I can't show it to you here. Anyway, let's get back to where I was so that they don't know that I took you somewhere you shouldn't be seeing. Smith says, I'm just a masochist for punishment. Rename card says, what does it look like at night? Well, you're not actually going to see it at night because we're not changing the time of day in the game. Yeah, so... It is using a dynamic light for the indirect, so we could change the time of day, but we're not planning on adding that as part of the game. Android Lost says yes, to rename card, the lighting isn't built yet either, so it will look different. Yeah, again, don't judge it by what you see here because, yeah, the lighting is not built. So there's basically no ambient occlusion happening, no shadowing under the trees. It will look quite different once we build the lighting. The reason we haven't rebuilt the lighting is because I'm still adding stuff to this part of the level. We still have to do multiple beauty passes, but what we'll do is, once I do a commit to the to Perforce of what I've been working on, me and the guys at the studio will then do a rebuild on the lighting up to this stage, because that'll give us a good idea then if there's anything that needs to be tweaked. And then we'll continue adding assets, which means we're going to have to keep doing another rebuild to the lighting. So we just want to try and minimize the amount of rebuilds to lighting we have to do, because rebuilding lighting in any engine takes a long time. Even though we use Swarm and we pull in all of the machines in the studio to do the bake, it still takes a long time. Particularly this level here, because it's quite a large landscape. It's like 2 kilometers by 2 kilometers squared, so that's a really big area for the light bake to have to bake, so it takes it quite a while. So we try and minimize the number of times we have to do a bake, because as you guys know, when machines are baking out, they're pretty much useless. I mean, you can surf the web maybe if you want to do that while it's doing its thing in the background, but if you want to get any work done, you can't. The machine's CPU cores are maxed out in the Swarm doing the bake out. So yeah, we try and minimize it as much as possible because we can't really use our machines while it's happening. We do have GPU light mass now, which we're starting to experiment with. We're seeing what that's like in Unreal. It is something you do have to enable, so I don't know if you guys, again, I'll talk about it briefly because some people might not be aware of it, but if you go into Engine and Plugins and you do a search for GPU, you have this GPU light mass, which is the new whiz-bang version of baking out, which uses your graphics card. But it's not enabled by default, so you need to enable it. And we're starting to experiment with that, because it does speed up the bake out time quite a bit. Android Lust says you don't have to tell us all the spoilers. I know. Alpha says the bridge is impassable due to excessive cobwebs. Well, this is true. The bridge is full of cobwebs. There are big holes that you can't cross them. But it's an old bridge, you know, it's falling apart. Rename card says, well, volume effects for water, yeah, the water is a runtime volumetric effect. So it moves around any rocks in its way. It doesn't just go straight through them like most waterfalls in most games do. Not all. I mean, some games do it properly, but most don't. Most cheat and just use water that will pass through rocks. Rename card says crazy. Euro says beauty passes, more cobwebs. That's exactly right. You know me too well, Euro. Snobby Girl says, yeah, so true. The rename card says, is laughing at Euro. Okay, so yeah, we're going to jump back into Painter. We've baked that out, which is good. We need to add a fill. Actually, this, I needn't have saved it out. I think this uses the same texture as the cabinet. So we'll double check that by adding a fill layer. And going into textures. I created a new, I think it's per project. I don't think it saves the texture. So let's just re-import the textures again really quickly because I want to double check to make sure that I am correct. So we're going to bring the cabinet in. And let's assign them. Am I incorrect there? It does not look quite right. No, I think it might be using a different texture. I'm just going to double check. Mm-mm. 3A, 3A. No, I thought it used the same texture map. I'm just gonna check it in Unreal actually. That drove a programming friend of mine, when he sat down at my PC the other day, it drives him nuts that I set up Windows so that every time I open something, it opens a new window. And that drives him nuts. And same with my mouse, I single click instead of double click. I set it up that way and that drives him nuts as well. Unreal, that's what we're doing. Going into Unreal, and we want to go into this, and I just want to check the cabinet door. Let's see what yeah, 3A. I thought it used the same uses the same shader. So why is that happening? I didn't change the UV, so that shouldn't be an issue. Let's have a look. No, I haven't brought that in. Okay. It's definitely not correct though. So what have I done wrong? Cabinet 03A. It didn't re-UV it when I brought it in, did it? I didn't tell it to change the UVs. No, I didn't turn auto unwrap on, so that's not the issue. So what is the issue? Maybe it's because I didn't do a bake out, or did I? Yeah, no, I did do a bake out. So that's not the issue. Tell you what, the easiest way to figure this out is to bring it into Max and have a look at it. So let's import the door, and let's add the texture we think it should be using, which is this one. And let's assign it to the mesh. Okay, now we do see we got that problem, so let's throw an unwrap down. Okay, looks like the problem here is the UVs are out of the 0 to 1 space. Which is going to be a bit of an issue. Not that, that's not the issue. The issue is something else. I mean, worst comes to worst, we can always just retexture it, which probably will be what we end up doing, I think. Yeah, let's do it. It'll be quicker and easier, I think. So I'm just going to get it to do a repack. We'll rotate, we'll fill, we won't rescale, and we will normalize though. Okay, so now we're going to export selected. This is 3, so I'm just going to rename this one 3 revision 2 for R2. Oops. Let's save this. I'm just going to call it cabinet door. Cabinet door. Okay, let's jump back into Painter. Start a new project, we haven't done anything anyway. Revision 2 at 2K will be fine. Discard. Bake. I'm just going to rename the material before I forget. Cabinet door underscore revision 2. Now we want to add a fill layer. No, we don't want to add a fill layer, do we? Oh man. No, let's find that smart material. I can't remember what I called it. I cannot remember what I call that smart material. I knew that would happen. What did I call it? A copy and save. Hang on, what are we saying here? Your rename card says I need to get back into Unreal more. It's been a long time. Andrew Loss says the same. You check out UE5 actually, guys. Like I said, it's good. Actually, it is good. I mean, it is a little buggy. The official first release of it is a bit buggy, but it's definitely worth playing with. It's Epic have done a really good job with Lumen, which is really the only thing I've looked extensively into at the moment. I'm keen to check Nanite out too, but yeah, Lumen is really, really good. Yeah, really good. See, Lumen is good because what you see on an NVIDIA card will be the same thing that you see on an AMD card. So Lumen is like Epic's version. You know what Lumen is in the Unreal Engine 5, but it's really meant to be a replacement for like RTX ray tracing. It's actually, ray tracing is being depreciated in Unreal Engine 5. So if you look at certain sections of the engine, you'll see that it reads depreciated with ray tracing. So basically what Epic, I think, are doing is that they're replacing ray tracing with Lumen, which is like their version of ray tracing. It's interesting. It's interesting. And what I like about Lumen is that you can use it no matter which video card you use, whether AMD or NVIDIA, it will look the same. With ray tracing, you've got the problem that it won't look the same on either card because of the way that they handle stuff. Even though they're all based on DirectX 12, which is the underlying shader model for ray tracing, there are certain things that you do with an NVIDIA card that won't work on an AMD card. Yeah, so Lumen solves that problem, which is what I like about it, particularly, and it's really performant as well, like good performance from it. Yura says, yes, for me, the last engine I was in was Unity a week or so ago. Andrew Luss says, I was waiting for UE5, but that was just an excuse. Well, you've got no excuse now because UE5 has officially been released. I mean, I didn't use it until now as well because I didn't want to play with I didn't want to play with beta software, with pre-release software, but it's officially released now, so no more excuses. It's free. Download it, install it, play with it. Actually, the installation's very large. I have to tell you that too. It's multi mega gigabytes of data that are downloaded and installed with the Unreal Engine 5. So be prepared for a lot of disk space used. Smurf says, that would drive me nuts too. Me 3 Euro says, Helpwood says, copy and save. Snubby says, going to take a shower real quick, no problem. Euro says, 3D Studio Max is my game engine of choice. Rename Card says, yeah, I guess now it's time to jump back in. Yeah, do check it out. It's worth checking out UE5. Rename Card says, that sounds cool. I need more disk space, Android Lust says. Yeah, it does use a lot of disk space. You can knock that back. Like, don't install the Android or the Linux or the Apple stuff if you're not going to be using them. That can reduce it, and you can set that up in the launcher when you install the engine. It's quite simple, and that will reduce the size by about half if you don't install the Android stuff and the iPhone, the Apple stuff and the Linux stuff. If you just stick to Windows, but it still uses quite a bit of space. And the specs, let's have a look at how much space it uses. I'll do your install won't be quite like mine because mine has actually got other stuff in it, and I built mine from Git, not from the launcher, but which means it's already a bit lower than it probably would be in the launcher. But let's see how much space the Unreal Engine 5 is using on my SSD. And it's still going, and it's still going, and it's still going. There we go. 223 gigabytes. Now, you can remove like maybe 50 gigabytes from that, which is the project that's actually in there. So you're probably looking at about 180 gigabytes. At least that's what I'm finding. Smurf says, for a lot of bytes. For a lot of bytes. And what was I doing? That's what I'm looking for, that texture. Now what? What did I call it? Where did I put it? My crypt, my crack, my column, my clip. I thought it was my cabinet. I'm sure I called it my cabinet. But I don't see it. Oh, there we go. I knew it was there somewhere. Oh, yeah, that's what I thought. So what the problem with this is now we've got, and I don't know why the UVs have changed on this, but anyway. What we can do is we can get around it this way. We can find a wood texture. Just gotta wait for this to cache. Come on, come on. There we go, you can cache. We'll find an underlying wood texture that we can use. So let's go with this honey. Move that layer. Can I change the honey? Can I? Yes, I can. Good. We're going to start by turning off the height information. We're only using this as like an underlying wood. So let's change it a little bit. Let's bring it more into the red and darken it up. I'm just jumping into max so I can get an idea of so we can sort of make sure our colors match. So we're into more of a yellow than a red. So let's just change this a little bit. And now I'm just going to export this so I can check to make sure that the textures match. So we're going to call this GF cabinet door. Cabinet door. And export. Let's jump in here. Let's bring in the door. Just move it up and into the right spot so that we know what we're doing. That's good enough. I just want to make sure that my colors match. So I'm going to bring in that other texture. So it will be this one. And so just, again, I'm just checking to make sure that the colors match. And it looks pretty good to me. It should be fine. So that's good. And we're just in the engine. Oh, okay. We have this issue here with the handle. I forgot about that. We may need to rebake this with a separate vertex color. Let's give it a green. re-export the door. Back into Painter. Edit the project configuration and reload the door. And now sometimes it won't pick this change up. Damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it. I can't get back. Really annoying. Alright. Let's break out the materials and the ID vertex color. I did not do it correctly. I'm trying to work out why. I have the right model. Oh, why did it do that? It didn't bake the map out. I can see it here. So what's the issue? What's the problem? Andrew Doss says, ever since terabytes have gotten cheaper, everything seems to have ballooned in size. I know. Tell me about it. It's strange, isn't it? So it's programmers have gotten lazy. That's what it is. You know, back in the day when hard drives were expensive and space was much smaller, programmers had no choice but to make sure their stuff was really as optimized as possible, so it was as small as possible. But these days they're all lazy and everything, like you said, is ballooned in size. Euro says NAND still needs to drop considerably in my opinion. I agree. SSDs are reasonably priced until you get the 1 to 2 terabyte. Anything above that is ridiculous money. Yeah, I know. And it's been like that for years. Everything else has gotten cheaper. The lower capacities have gotten cheaper and cheaper. But anything, like you say, above, particularly above 2 terabyte, man, it's still really expensive. There's no reason for it, really. They do it because they can. They could make it cheaper if they wanted to. Now, why did this bakeout not work correctly? It's warning me here. Use high poly parameters. Highest definition meshes list is empty. Yeah, but I'm not using a high poly, so why are you giving me an error? I'm telling you to use the low poly. Let's see if we can't just bake out the ID map. It's not baking the ID map out. Alright, let's back into Max. Let's have a look at what's going on. That should be correct. We have our ID here. So what is the issue? Let's turn it into a poly just in case it's having an issue with that. Let's re-export it again. Sorry about that. Probably pretty loud for you guys because it's going to be coming through my mic as well as my NDI source, that noise. Let's just rename this cabinet door R2. Let's try this again. Did I re-import this? I can't remember. I don't think I did I? Let's try baking it out again. It's still not bringing in the ID map. Why? Why? That is really strange. Let's try it again. Let's try telling it not to use the high poly, the low poly. Still the same thing. That's got me beat. I'm not sure what's going on there. Very strange. There's got to be a reason for it. Okay, again, we're out of the 0 to 1 space. Go bigger. So let's try packing the UVs. Rotate. Fill, not rescale. Okay, export. Edit the project. Bake the maps. Okay, now we're good. Alright, so now we have to add that as a base layer, we have to turn off the hide information, we have to change the color. And bring it into a little bit more of a yellow. And now we have to change, add our wood again. I'm going to try and find it again. There it is. I just think it's a bit too yellow, so let's take it back a little bit more. Okay, let's export the textures. Before I do that, actually I want to change this to SM cabinet door R2, that's what I called it. I'm just going to remove these ones so I don't get confused. Okay, let's check it in max. And now we're good to go. Oh, But I didn't change that, did I? So that was the whole point of doing all of this, wasn't it? So let's just make them like a dirty gold. Well, let's have a look at this one. We're going to mask with color selection to... why did you not bake the ID? Oh, I know why. I know why. Let's just rebake the ID map again. I forgot to change it to vertex. Okay. Color selection, pick color green, and we can remove the grey. That'll be fine. Okay. Export textures. And now we should be good. Finally. Let's save this as let's call it GF cabinet. Let's save our project file here. Cabinet door.
I don't know how to call you. I've got weapons and I'll be your secret lover, because you want it back again when it's all over. Oh.
What's going on?
And I don't know where you come from. Isn't discriminatory?
Yura says Nan still needs to. Smurf says. Yura says I always laugh at NVIDIA driver downloads. They're about 500 megabytes now. Half a gig, and I don't use half the crap they bundle with it. All the game profiles taking up space. The last NVIDIA driver I downloaded was like nearly 800 megabytes, I think. Which was the latest studio driver, which is that NVIDIA released about 3 weeks ago. I installed. So I'm working with the latest driver, studio driver. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was like about 700 meg. Android Lust says, probably why it takes so long to update stuff. My storage will just disappear before my eyes. You're back, Sniper Girl. Welcome back after your shower. Elfwood says, copy and save. Here it says, oh, thanks. Sniper Girl says, you're welcome. Okay, so what have we got left to do here? Alright, save it. I'm pretty sure I saved it anyway. The clock, the phone. Okay, we've got things like the picture frame and the light. Hang on, what? Will I notice? Oh, yeah, I just noticed Sniper Girl's gifted another sub. This time to Euro. That's, again, incredibly generous of you, Sniper Girl, gifting all of these subs to people. She gifted one yesterday to Kamal. And she's just gifted another one now to Euro. So thank you, Sniper Girl, for the gift of the sub. That's very, very generous of you. And I also want to say welcome to Skylar. Skylar45, welcome to Phil Does 3D. I stream every Monday, Tuesday, Skylar, at 5 PM Pacific time in the US. My schedule never changes. Remember, Skylar, if you do want to join the Phil Does 3D Discord server, you can click the link. Thank you, Hellforge. Click the link that Hellforge has just popped into Twitch chat. That'll give you an invite link to join the Discord, because there's a gallery section where you can show off your work, and I like to show people's work on stream. If you don't want me to, you can just say when you post it in the gallery, please don't show it on stream, and I won't. But it's full of useful information. The Discord, the Phil Does 3D Discord, art, help and advice section, folios and demo reels, where you can link to your folio or demo reel, tutorial and tips, tools and scripts. There's all sorts of stuff there. Yeah, feels starting to wane today. I don't know why. I don't have a temperature. I'm just feeling a bit out of sorts today for some reason. I'd like to get these done actually, but so let's push through. The picture frame. So back into Painter. New project. Okay, let's do the picture frame. Bake out the map at 2K using the low poly as the high poly. We've got to jump into Photoshop and separate those. Textures, picture frame, frame, normal, this one. Smurf says summer's coming. Wait, no, that's my hemisphere. Yes, no, winter's coming here. Sniper Girl says if you're not feeling well, you can always call it early. Yeah, I might have to. I'm really not feeling quite right. Sniper Girl says to Smurf, yep, can't wait. Smurf says, I took some nice flower pictures yesterday. Oh, nice. Also a squirrel. Oh, those squirrels are so cute. Sniper Girl says, well, you have flowers currently. It still looks like winter here. Yeah, look, I might call it early, guys. I'm not feeling completely well. Yeah, I'm feeling a little bit all. We will pick this up. Well, actually, I'm off next week because of Easter, but I'm back the week after. So no streams on Monday and Tuesday next week. So I'm back on Monday the 25th. So a week's break over Easter. Coffee isn't working, huh? No, it's not working. We're finishing up 20 minutes early. Yeah, I'm just not feeling quite right. I don't have a temperature, but I just don't... You know how sometimes you just don't feel quite right? I just don't feel quite right. A little bit of a headache. A bit of an upset tummy too, actually. So I think we're going to call it a day. Pardon me. I will be back again, not next week, the week after. So I'm just off for a week over Easter. Back on Monday the 25th, I believe it is, wasn't it? Yeah, Monday the 25th. You guys have a great weekend and a great Easter. Don't eat too much chocolate. And I'll see you all again in a week's time. So, no, not next week, the week after. You guys take care, and yes, happy Easter to everybody. Thank you, Euro. Yeah, I hope I do too. I might go and have a lie down, I think. See if I feel better after a short nap. So yeah, you guys, thanks for hanging out with me today. I really do appreciate it. Thank you, Sniper Girl, for gifting the sub to Euro, and welcome again, Skylar. I will see you all after Easter, so the 25th, Monday the 25th. So no streams next week, the week after. You guys have a great Easter and a great weekend. See you guys.